We'll go ahead with Wednesday post-practice media availability for Coach. We'll go ahead and start with Jeff.
Justin, can you just talk about how practice has gone this week and how much you expect to be a different team Saturday than you were last week?
Practice has been really spirited. I'll tell you that much. I think, everybody came out yesterday on Tuesday, and we had our traditional Tuesday practice, and it was physical, and there was a lot of spirit in practice yesterday. I'll put it that way. And I thought they did a great job. One of our best practices of the year, if not the best, and then followed it up with another good day today. But ultimately, the test is on Saturday. We got to carry that over. We know we got a challenge in front of us, but I expect us to improve. And I thought our players' mentality yesterday and today was right where we needed it to be.
This may be an obvious question, but how much does it help after 2 weeks of not having a defensive line around for practice to have those guys available?
Yeah, it does help. We prefer to have everybody available, and they being able to get some teamwork in 11 on 11. And again, it was very, very competitive. And so I thought that was a great sign. And I thought they brought a lot of energy to both practices, and I think we'll have another good one tomorrow.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to David Bush from Bear Insider.
Hi, Justin. You addressed this yesterday, and then Coach Sermon talked about it today. The practicing the tackling. I mean, the tackling was surprisingly poor for your defense that has been so good at it in the previous. How has that gone this week? Have you seen some improvement? Have you gotten some drills in that help?
Yeah, we have drilled it. We drilled it prior. There's just sometimes to simulate a live game is just really difficult. You get scrimmage situations, and we had a couple of those live tackling drills. We really were trying to, as I mentioned before, walk the tightrope this past month of getting prepared to play with kind of where we were physically and with the numbers on the roster. We didn't tackle well in the game. That's obvious. We've continued to work on it in practice, and I know the guys are out there, taking the coaching in, and ultimately we will be tested again on Saturday. So time will tell, but I think I would expect us to improve that area.
And Sheehan, it looked like he was struggling a little bit with the punting. You didn't get long moving punts. Was that nervousness, or has he been better this week?
We thought he actually punted pretty well. We had a certain type of punt we were looking for. The way they were rushing or not rushing the punt. We had a way that we were trying to manage that, and I thought he did a pretty good job. So he has a plenty of strong leg, but we were asking him to keep it a certain way to limit the return yardage, and I thought he did a pretty good job.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, we'll move to Trace Travers from Rivals.
Yeah, Coach, good evening. You mentioned Stanley having to get cleared by the medical team this week. Is there any progress on that front?
Yeah, we expect Stanley to be able to play. Now, how much remains to be seen, but we expect him to be available during the game.
Yeah, and how much does having a guy who is a true nose tackle like him help your defense in general?
Yeah, it helps. We expected Stanley to play a lot last week. Unfortunately, wasn't able to. He's still a young player. He hasn't played in a college football game yet, but he's built for the position. He really likes football. He plays hard. I don't know if he'll be perfect, but I know he's going to go out there and compete. So we're looking forward to getting him out there, and kind of he's been thrust into a position based on kind of roster attrition, and I think he's ready for that. So we're going to continue to work with Stanley daily because I think he's going to be a good player. He's still at the very, very beginning of his career, but I know he'll go out there and compete.
And with regard to Oregon State's offense, I think you said earlier this week they're very multiple. Coach Smith has done similar things in Washington. What is there anything in particular that stands out about them?
Uh, they're a well-coached unit. I think you'll see the multiple formations, different multiple run schemes, everything, kind of marries up, their run play action game. They're a game plan team. So if you run a certain coverage the whole game, they're going to pick on that coverage schematically. So you got to be able to disguise things and change the windows for the quarterback in the pass game. And then they got, really good runner, or a couple of them really, running the football, and the O-line's well coached. So it'll be a good challenge for our defense.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Owen Kaminsky.
Hey, Coach. How do you feel about Jonathan Smith?
Well, I think John's a great coach. I've known him a long time. And I think he's done a really good job there. Anything specifically? Sorry, I know that was kind of a short answer. I don't know if there was anything specific you were looking for.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go back to Jeff Ferrata.
I'm going to want a much longer answer than that, Justin. Tell me specifically what impressed you about Jermar Jefferson. What's made him such a good back in this league?
Man, he really burst onto the scene when he first got there, true freshman, and really good balance. He runs through arm tackles. He's a tough guy to bring down. It looks like he sees things really well, but really an all-around back. I mean, he's a talented guy, always going forward, doesn't have a lot of negative plays. When they get him the ball, he's getting yards. So he's done it since he's been there and against really everybody that he's played. So
they didn't run the ball, or they didn't throw the ball very well at all last week, and yet he was still successful, which is impressive given that I'm sure the defense was ganging up on him.
Yeah, I mean, they played, Washington played quite a bit of post safety, which they always do, which adds another guy down at the line of scrimmage. And he and the other back both ran really well. So they have talented runners. And again, the run scheme, they do a great job with, and the O-line and tight ends being involved in blocking and all that. So do a really good job.
Thank you.
Okay, Trace Travers.
Yeah, you were scheduled a couple weeks ago to play members of the Sermon family. Now you get to play a member of the Musgrave family, Luke, over there at Oregon State. And you and Coach Sermon have both mentioned their tight end room as a position of strength. What stands out about those guys and what they're able to do?
Yeah, the first is their physical traits. I mean, they're big physical guys, tall. They move well. They can block at the point of attack, and then they get down the field, and they're a big part of their offense. They're finding ways to get them in get them involved in the pass game. It's not like they're running the clear out route or anything like that. They're getting the ball and working it towards them in the pass game. And so I think the physical attributes, and then obviously the influence that offense has on that position. So they've done a good job there.
In addition, is there anything that stands out about their quarterback, Jebbia?
I think he's, watch the first couple of games. I mean, he can throw the ball. We knew about him coming out of high school. He's a transfer, as you know. And I think, it looks like the more and more he plays, just the more comfortable he gets, which is pretty natural for a QB like that. And so John will have those guys coached up and ready to go. We know that.
And on the topic of quarterbacks, how has Chase kind of rebounded from Sunday?
Great. I know Chase, as you all know by now, you kind of get the same guy, all right? And that's through the good and sometimes the plays that you wish you had back, like all of us. He is a steady character. So he came into meetings on Monday and wide-eyed and took the coaching and looked at the things he did well, things he didn't do as well, just like everyone, and had a really good practice yesterday and a really good practice today. So encouraged about Chase's prospects and just his attitude this week.
Thank you.
Hey, guys, anybody have a final question? Okay, thanks a lot, Coach.